Live from New York is Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another fantastic, now in full stereophonic sound, Ask an Engineer. I'm Lady Ada, I'm the engineer. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit secret, awesome headquarter towers in downtown Manhattan. With me is also Adabot.
Hello.
He's on camera control. No Becky this week because Becky's doing something.
Becky's in the chat.
She's doing something much more fun. Or she's in the chat.
She's in the chat.
We have a fantastic show. This is our last show before we go to Maker Faire. Next week we'll be at Maker Faire. So remember, next week when you're ready to ask the engineer and we're not there, it's because we're at Maker Faire.
We won't be able to do the show from Maker Faire because it's like right around the time of the end of the day. And logistically, it's really tough. The internet connection.
Like it closes at 7 and our show's at 10, so that it's like, well, how are we going to do the show? But that's okay. We won't really even have a live Ask an Engineer there. But I guess if people run up to me with a question, I guess I could try to answer it.
Yeah.
But not while I'm in line for the bathroom, okay? Like that was not cool. Whoever did that 2 years ago, that was really not.
No engineering questions in the bathroom.
No, it was in line because the line was really long. I was like, I really gotta go. Anyways, there's a lot of fun stuff on tonight's show.
Okay.
Tell them what's on tonight's show.
We're going to talk about the show and tell. Some interesting news around the web. Heathkit was back and then it went away again, unfortunately. But there's all sorts of interesting new things.
A dream deferred.
Yes. Open Source Hardware DC has their videos posted. There is a new open source robotics foundation. We'll talk about some of the things that are on the Adafruit site, including some announcements about some new staff, some things from Ask an Educator, some blog posts that came in. We'll also have some new products, from battery holders to caliper pens to tiny Wi-Fi dongles for BeagleBone to flow meters to the embed. We'll answer your questions. We have a trivia question, all that and more in a cat, all on Ask an Engineer.
Meow meow.
That's it.
You actually have a lot of new products because I rushed to get as many of these things in. I didn't even get to finish everything. I had like 3 more items on to put in. We didn't get to finish before we leave.
Yeah.
Next week for Maker Faire.
Yeah, we're going to be at the Make Open Innovation Workshop, Open Hardware Innovation Workshop.
There's still tickets available. People can pick up tickets. It's in Palo Alto. It's going to be full of awesome people. And it's Tuesday and Wednesday in Palo Alto, and we'll take the Caltrain there, and it'll be interesting. It's in Park, which used to be owned by Xerox. I actually didn't do the research, but apparently they're not in Xerox's company. Maybe they're like a subsidiary or something, but it's not Xerox Park. It's actually just Park. So hopefully there's a little museum. I want to go check this out because I'm sure they have like this Xerox star and all these like cool old things.
Yeah, lots of history there.
Yeah. Maybe they have like I'm sure all the coolest photos and documents from like when they did so much of the great UI work of the 70s and 80s. So so we're excited.
And we'll take photos of everything we see. Of course.
We'll try to
we'll have videos and we'll do that, and then we'll be back the following week.
We'll be back not of course next week, but the week after, and we'll have a super crazy jam-packed show. And they've got such exciting news coming up and great new stuff. And I have like all these boards coming in, so I'm going to have a lot of new kits and products in the store real soon. So exciting. Okay.
Tonight's code
Mom
is Mom, because tomorrow's Mother's Day. So use the code MOM. You'll get and things that we make at Adafruit. Okay, let's go in the show and tell stuff. So we had the show and tell. The show and tell was epic. Epic. So let's try to.
We had rats. No
there was. Chris showed he had a cool project.
Internet of Things printer, WriterNet, XNP protocol, touchscreen, OtterBox waterproof rats.
Yeah, and the other thing.
That was crazy.
During the show and tell, Lewis showed his USB
SPI it's his SPI JTAG thing, and he cut out. Maybe he'll come back next week.
The internet connection cut out, I think, for him, but we got a good chance to see it before it got cut off.
Harry showed his Pogo pins.
Yeah, the Pogo pin project, and also Harry Johnson. He's one of the makers that has been in show and tell, and you've seen some of his projects we post on the blog, and also on he's guest blog on Adafruit, but he just got accepted to Stanford.
Yeah, to the ECS program.
And he had his business card, Kip Works, which Kip Bradford, a lot of people know in maker circles. He's
in Rhode Island
with Kip, so that's very exciting. So if you see Harry at Maker Faire, congratulate him.
Yes.
And it's cool to see someone we know who does open source going off to
I
do
didn't
that.
get into Stanford, so I'm very jealous.
And we also had Jerry, who has his
Light
shirt. And then we also had...
we had a yogurt making device.
Yeah, John had his yogurt making device. And
yeah, it was cool because he used a set. What's funny was he didn't use a temperature system, like where you dial in temperature. Instead, he would heat it up to the temperature he wanted and then press a button, and then it would just maintain that temperature with the SSR and like the AT Tiny 85. So like a super simple, super basic, but obviously very effective yogurt maker.
Yeah.
Makes yogurt.
Yeah, and one of the things I mentioned this in the show and tell is we're starting to see a lot of people take appliances, because appliance makers have made things for a period of time and they got it as cheap as they could. So they're very basic. There's not a ton of features on like a crock pot.
Mm-hmm.
And the maker movement's come along where a lot of people have the skills to modify these things. So he made a yogurt maker that just holds the temperature, and he did it by like a clever hack, just looking at the voltage. And every week we're hearing more people that are just outfitting their normal things that they have in their homes with technology.
Yeah.
And some of them, do stuff on the internet. Some of them, there was a washing machine that would.
Well, it's cool. This is like the inventiveness that people always talk about.
Yeah,
right?
and I like that no one's really scared to start pulling apart their appliances.
Yeah.
It's pretty
well,
neat.
just be careful when you do it, just because high voltage stuff.
Yeah.
In the U.S., 120 volts probably won't kill you, but it might knock you out, and you might hit your head, and then that'll hurt. So, it's a little unpleasant.
Yeah. But I mean, I like that there was a time, I think, where everyone was scared to even consider doing this, and now it's like, oh, you know what, I could probably figure it out. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Cooper, who's now part of the Adafruit team, we'll get to that in a minute. He showed and we didn't even know about this thing. He showed a project that
Gamer Shield.
A Gamer Shield.
Yeah, it's a kit.
Yeah, so it'll be available at Make, and that's the first time we saw it too. We got a demo of it.
Yeah.
And now, as far as I know, now there are 2 open source dice platforms.
Yeah.
This is great. This is perfect.
It's intense.
I love it. I'm gonna try to get a photo of both of them together.
Yeah.
Multiple dice.
Well, the Harry's has a much better random number. It's like truly random.
Yeah.
It has it's a good analog random number generator, and the Cooper one's probably fine for most games.
I like the one that
but it's not as precise.
Yeah, and the differences between the two is Tyler's has all the scoring stuff, and you can do things.
Yeah.
And there's a countdown timer. Very cool.
But Harry's is like straight to the point.
Straight to the point. You just want random dice.
You just want to get some dice rolling going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How do you want to talk about how people can join the show and tell?
If you'd like to join the show and tell, it's super easy. Go to my Google Plus page, the Lady Ada Lamore Freed one, and request to be added. I usually do a post and say, hey, request to be added by commenting here, and I'll add you. And I'll add you to the circle, and that way you can join in, because otherwise there's 500,000 people. We don't want them all showing up at once.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to try to get to some of these news things. I'll get rid of us for a second. So this is a photo from Evil Mad Scientist Laboratories, Robot Girl, who has a show, and she's also now part of Evil Mad Scientist Laboratories.
She's an Evil Mad intern.
Evil Mad intern.
Evil Mad artist in residence.
Yeah. So she's building a Heath kit.
Yeah, like a radio.
An original one. And
that's a nice box.
It's really cool.
Check out that logo. That is a gorgeous
Atomic
logo.
Age. Yeah.
I just love these logos from when everything was just Tronics, and it was always like atoms, because they were like.
Yeah, well, there was the space race
cool.
was going on, and there was
cool.
everyone had like atomic energy on their mind. Very interesting.
Yeah, I love it. This was when was Heath Kit formed, in the 50s?
I think it was all the way up to the 70s.
Yeah.
But anyways, Heath Kit, they went out of business. They stopped making the kits.
And then it was sold, then it was bought.
Yeah.
And then you actually spoke to someone who said they own the...
Right. There's an educational company, and they were going to re-release Heath kits. They did a public announcement. Yeah. It was on the site, and then I posted about this earlier in the week. It looks like Heath kits is not going to come back.
But you said you knew someone, you talked to somebody who owned the copyrights to
right,
the manuals.
Someone bought the copyrights to the manuals, and separately.
Yeah.
Sometimes companies go out of business, different assets are sold. So he can't make the kits, but he owns the copyright now to the manuals.
Yeah.
So when people want to restore them, they can buy a copy of these manuals from him.
Yeah. We actually tried to convince him to sell us the rights so we could release them, but he was like, "No way."
I tried to buy the manuals from this guy, and maybe one day we'll be able to get it.
He wanted a lot of money. We
But
didn't have that much money.
here's the thing, and the weird twist of this story is, and I read this on the Amateur Radio Association site. The new Heathkit education site that made an announcement that they're getting back into kits. They said they were going to have like a home garage door kit and like some, I think, ham radio kit. It looks like now they're dissolving that company, so it doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
They didn't even
Which is a shame because you know what, there is such a big market for electronic kits now. I actually believe. I mean, look how many companies there are. We're at a conference next week, and all these companies are multi-million-dollar companies who make electronic kits. It's a great thing to get into, and they have such heritage. But sometimes it just doesn't work out for various reasons.
And of course, we don't know the details. It could be anything from financing to, whatever the debt load was to expect. They couldn't get retailers or who knows.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. But you know what's good though. We don't need. I mean, like I'm not saying it's good to win a business, but we don't need Heathkit. We actually have such a thriving ecology.
Yeah.
There's like 50 kit makers out there at least, easily, maybe even 100 different kit makers. Some people have 1 kit or 2 kits. Some people have like 10 different kits that they sell. But like pretty much not every kit that could possibly be made, but like every kit that people really want is being made.
Yeah.
I feel like, or has the ability to be made. It's not like, oh, we need Heathkit to come along and make like a clock kit. It's like we don't need that. We can make our own clock kits. Yeah.
And I think that no matter what, the brand assets might be for sale. Maybe someone will scoop it up. In some type of assets can get sold. So we'll see. It's very interesting to watch this. It's not a direct or good analogy, but it is kind of crazy that Instagram was bought for $1 billion and Polaroid is basically going bankrupt, and Instagram is just a Polaroid-like filter for your mobile phone camera. It would have been maybe interesting if Polaroid was able to develop a software plugin for all these mobile electronics, and that was but this is what's good. Old companies go away and new ones come in.
This is the creative destructive.
This is how it is.
Yeah.
So anyways,
cycle. Okay. Hopefully Heathkit will rise again. Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. Next up.
The Open Hardware DC event put on by Public Knowledge in DC. They posted up their videos.
There's videos.
Do check it out.
Yeah.
If let's see, Becky's in the chat. Maybe Becky can go through the blog and post some of the links and some of this stuff.
Yeah, there's videos.
It's
small, but
it's on the blog.
Panels.
Speaking on other open source hardware news, Willow Garage announces the launch of the Open Source Robotics Foundation. And here's the interesting thing: Helen, the co-founder of iRobot, is on this foundation.
That's great. Willow, they do
They do an open source robotics platform.
They do the ROS platform. I don't know that much about robotics, unfortunately. But I think they do the open source.
They use some of the Connect stuff that we helped get out there.
Stuff. They have a Connect bot, but I think they mostly they're trying to do like, the big, hairy, crazy stuff like personal robotics and stuff.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is now there's an Open Source Hardware Association. Now there's a Open Source Robotics Foundation, and this is from one of the people. I don't remember all the rest of the people on the directors or boards of this, but Helen, co-founder of iRobot, which one of the most successful robotics companies in history, and they're still doing amazing stuff. There seems to be a new trend where if you're going to do electronics, they're going to be open source. If you're going to do robotics, open source.
It's an option, and it's not a bad option. It's not like, I have to. I'm going to do open source because I have to. It's like some companies are doing open source because they want to. Like ROS, I don't know if it had to be open source. Maybe they decided to. They said they want to make it open source.
And what's neat, from my point of view, as someone who tries to write about this over time, is the people that are out there who want to participate by just buying a kit or getting a robot. They know if it's open source, they'll have a better experience. They're asking for it. They're like, oh, is it open source? Because it's just, sometimes they don't even understand exactly what all that means, but they know that there's a lot of value. Oh, there's this open source thing.
Yeah.
So it's working. It's working out. I really like it. There'll be, who's going to do the next, open source car? That's always come up, but it's going to be possible. Open source medical devices. There was an interesting blog post around the internet this week that had a question: would an open source pacemaker be better than a closed source? An interesting debate about all this stuff. Yeah. All right.
Next up.
Let's keep zooming. In other news, Patch Bay is now Cosm. They changed the name and they had some fun things. They said, it was always hard to pronounce what it is. It's pronounced Patch Bay, but everybody was like Pachub or Pachibi or like whatever.
Well, it was trying to be a sort of a pun on a patch bay, like a plug patch bay, but it was pronounced sort of in a I actually have no idea what pronunciation rules they would use, but
Yeah.
it was once you knew how to pronounce it was fine. But unfortunately, nobody could. And this is something I warn people about. Like, if you're going to come up with a company name, I know it's fun to go a little nutty, but like, you has to pass the radio test. You have to be able to, if you say it on the radio, people have to be able to write it down and spell it. Even though nobody listens to the radio. But like, I think one of the problems with Patch Bay is like, people would go to patchbay.com like spelled out the way you think it, and it would be not the right site, and then they'd be like, well, that's really weird.
Yeah.
And how would you Google for it? You don't even know how because you don't know how to spell it.
Yeah. So check out the new site, the Cosm site, and look at all the things that people are doing. We're noticing a lot of folks are taking Adafruit stuff and getting it online, doing stuff. So Internet of Things printer working with open air quality stuff that Patch Bay, now Cosm, pulls in. And we're going to try to have the Cosm people out here. One of them's in New Jersey, so we're going to maybe have them as a guest. Next up, this is some stuff from the Flickr pool. I always have to remind folks we have our Adafruit Flickr pool. And people add really cool photos in here all the time. There's a few hundred people that add stuff. This is one of our little plastic containers. They put foam in it, and it's AVRs.
Cheap storage.
Also on the blog this week, check out a guest post from Parallax talking about the Board of Education robot, the Arduino Shield. And this is one of the people who writes the documentation. Really, really neat. I'm gonna zoom through some of these news things because we're running. We got chatty. There is a interesting article in the New York Times that I thought it would be cool for us in the U.S. to consider. There is a place in Amsterdam. They're turning cafes into repair cafes.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
So
you hang out, drink some coffee, and get to work.
Yeah.
Fixing up your yogurt maker.
Yeah. So people are bringing in things and meeting up, and there's tools there, and they're all learning how to fix and repair stuff together. So I thought that was kind of neat. One thing from the mailbag. So every week we do the mailbag, and the mailbag has our little guy on here, the packet. And here's a quick mailbag. More, once again, your website inspired me. We now have 4 iPhones, multiple versions of each of the 3 iPads. We spent an enormous amount of time looking for power outlets. And in the end, the person said they built a 4-plug USB charger. The outlets will handle all the amperage, a small project voltage converter. And thank you for reverse engineering it and documenting it. So they built something based on your reverse engineering of the Apple Charger protocol.
Great.
So anyways, cool stuff. If you have
So I
something
did it.
Yep. All right. Next big announcement. Tyler Cooper, who was just on the show and tell, and folks know from Kubro, who has the little Kubro GPS thing, is now part of the Adafruit team. He's a creative engineer, and he's going to be based out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
We'll see him at Maker Faire next week, but he's one of the people who recently joined the Adafruit team.
Yay!
Paint Your Dragon, Phil Burgess is on the Adafruit team. I just talked to him today because we're going to plan to see each other.
Kevin
Townsend.
Townsend.
Yep, we got Becky recently joined. And then on Monday, we'll have another announcement of another new person joining the team. Yeah.
Okay.
And do check out Tyler's new series of articles.
Yeah, he does so many great blogs.
Yeah, he has a series of posts that we're doing maker businesses, because what I thought would be good is because he was running and still running a maker business, share all his experiences, especially some of the resources that he was looking at with Adafruit.
Yeah.
To get going, and our goal is to see more companies out there like Adafruit, and of course, as people get into the maker hobby, that's basically what we do, is we try to find people and help them, and then some of them were like, wow, we should just end up working together. So that's it. There's a couple posts on the site. These are the Ask an Educator posts that Adam Kep does. He's a real life school teacher that's using Adafruit stuff and also other electronics and teaching electronics in schools. This week's question is, can I power an EL sheet with a 3-volt battery? And what's the best path if I want to progress from Arduino to Bare AVRs? Great resources on that. So
yeah, I've got a lot of posts on that.
Do check out those things. And next up, a little post on the site. This is
Mini Tetris
from Dan. He's guest blogging on our site. And you can make a Tetris game with our LCD shield for Arduino.
Yeah,
I thought that was really fun.
Very small and skinny.
Yeah.
But you can do it.
Really cool. And then a couple more things. You just posted some BeagleBone tutorials up?
Yeah, I posted up a bunch. We finally have BeagleBones in stock long enough for me to write a tutorial about them, because I'm always like, oh, I have to go grab one. I'm like, wait, we're out of stock again. So I put up like 4 little tutorials, but they're kind of the most important ones. They don't teach you Linux, but they do teach you how to install the BeagleBone drivers, which is key because under Windows you have to do that. We'll add Mac and Linux tutorials as well later. And then how to connect using the USB serial interface, with the mini USB interface, which is, some people are like, well, there's more, the faster ways of doing it by using like Bonjour, and I'm like, but not everyone has that. And not everyone also is going to connect the BeagleBone to Ethernet. Sometimes you just want to plug it into your USB jack and get going. So how to do that, and then how to get Ethernet going, which is easy, but you just so you have an idea of how it works. And then finally, how to get our little Wi-Fi dongle up and running and have it automatically connect whenever the power is restarted, which is super handy. So you don't even have to like keep retyping all the information.
Yeah, we really like the BeagleBone platform. I
like it. I love it. I think it's so powerful and it's such a good deal, and I love how you can do so much with it, from have displays to GPIO to I2C to SPI. And is it a little bit more expensive than a Raspberry Pi? Yeah, but it also I think comes with, it's 3 times more expensive. It comes with 3 times more stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good value.
It's a good value.
Okay, we have a customer service video that Becky made. One of the things, we're having so many new customers and beginners that we're putting together videos to help them get help on the site. So Becky made a video about how you can check your order status, how you can look up past orders. We're doing customer service videos for all parts of the site. So learning by video is not only good for education, but also instead of reading a bunch of things about like, how to post up in the forums or whatever, good tips on how to get support of posting photos stuff. So here's like just a couple seconds of it.
Technical assistance with your Adafruit purchases on the Adafruit support forums. First, log in with your username and password, or create an account if you haven't yet. Select the appropriate.
You guys can watch the whole thing, but that's just one of the many videos, and we'll have more coming out soon. All right, we're gonna try to get into these new products. So before we do that, the code is 10% off.
MOM.
All right, so let's go into new products. All right.
It's new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, one quick question. Someone want to know, will you take videos from the users? Yeah, put them up. Send us a link to it. We'll see. We're always looking for that.
We've also stuff from other people.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I think they meant the customer service videos. That's fine. If you could point out cool things to do on our site, we'd love to check that out. All right. I have just 2 quick things. Someone asked. They said, what type of stuff is good for Mother's Day? Because they forgot to order stuff for their mom, but they can always order it and they'll get it early next week, which I think is still acceptable as long as you do something. It's fine. The eye necklace and the ASCII heart, both of those are
lovely lady gifts.
That was some. Let's see, there was a daughter, a sister, and I think an aunt. All of these trying to figure out. I was emailing with them, and they were trying to figure out what they can get. And then Becky did a great post about all these things, so I actually think they're getting her a Lady Ada toolkit.
It's a good thing to you want to get your good tools on.
Yeah.
You got to fix all the stuff that your kids are breaking all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just dive into new products. We're going to go through these kind of fast.
Okay, cool. First up is I really like this. This is a waterproof battery holder, which is really handy if you're doing projects. We do have battery holders that are not waterproof and they're good, but once in a while you want to take a project outside, and in that case it's good to have a waterproof battery holder. So I'll show this off on the overhead.
Okay.
So, this thing's really big. Can you maybe get rid of it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep going.
So the nice thing about this is it holds 3 AA batteries here, and there's these ears you can see, and I took the screws out. I just put them in here, but.
I have to move that to the other side.
Yeah, I can't see.
There you go.
Now I can see. Couldn't see before. And basically it goes together, and there's screws that fit together, and around here there's a gasket. I can't really pull it out because it's kind of embedded, but the good news is that when you press this in, the gasket basically forms a seal around here. I don't know exactly what the IP rating is, but I'm guessing that this is good for outdoor stuff, not necessarily if you want to dunk it underwater. It might survive that, but I don't know if it would survive it up to 1 meter.
Okay, a couple quick questions.
And then on the other side, there's an on-off button. And what's nice about this is it's waterproof, so it is potted inside, and then you can, when you press the button, you can turn it on and off without having a switch. And switches are where usually water gets in.
Okay. Will this work to power an Arduino? And will this work with rechargeable batteries?
It'll work with any batteries that are AA size, so rechargeables work fine. The voltage will be a little lower. You can use this to power an Arduino as long as you connect the power output directly to the 5-volt line instead of going through the DC jack, which is a little risky because there's no protection diode, but it is possible to do that. You can power a lot of microcontroller parts from 4.5 volts.
Okay. Let's keep moving along. This is a fun one, and you can actually, I'll keep it on the overhead. We have the Mimeograph pen.
Yeah, this was your pick. You really like this pen.
Yeah, this is a metal pen that is also a set of calipers. Super high quality, made in Germany.
Yes, this is this German metal pen, and I guess you can refill it too because it's a kind of a nice pen. It's kind of got a couple things going on here. One is, it's got your standard calipers. It's metric only. It's metric and imperial. There's up to 4 inches, and there's also up to about 100 millimeters. So that's handy. And then the depth gauge is the clip, so there's a little bit of a depth gauge as well. And they say it's a tire gauge, but you can also use it for any kind of depth gauge calculation. And it's not precise because it can bend a little bit, but it's pretty good. And then for people who know how to read vernier calipers, there's a vernier scale as well. It's really hard to read on the overhead, but if you look at the images on the website, so you can get to 0.1 millimeter or precision, or 0.01 inch maybe, I don't know, or 1/10 of 1/16 of an inch. So that is possible to do. I'm not really good at reading verniers, but with practice you can get really good at it. And what's nice is it works quite well as a pen as well.
Yeah.
Clicking on,
for the previous product, someone wants to know, could they charge the batteries that are inside of the waterproof container?
I mean, it's a direct connection.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
if
just
your
it's
charger
just a
was on
battery
the
holder.
outside, that would be fine.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're gonna keep moving. This is the super tiny Wi-Fi dongle.
It's super tiny.
That we have for the BeagleBone, and if you could see, there's real fingers in there. That's how tiny it is. This is a big version of it, but you can see.
It is small. So
it is. They are super tiny.
This is the adapter. It's a BGN adapter. It's a Wi-Fi USB adapter, and we actually tried a whole bunch of Wi-Fi adapters, and we found that this one actually worked the best, despite it didn't have the longest range because it is small. There's an antenna inside. There's a chip antenna, but of course it doesn't have a massive antenna. But still, it worked quite well, and I think partially it just has to do with what chipset it has and also the power requirements, and so this works really good. And we have a little tutorial on getting it running. You can get it running in like 5-10 minutes. And the best part is that it's this chipset is easy. You don't have to reinstall the kernel or redevelop a kernel for the BeagleBone. It's supported from the kernel inside. You just have to install a module, and it's really easy using O-Package. And so you just have to connect to the Ethernet for 5 minutes to download the package from the internet. That's the easiest way. You can probably also just put on the SD card, but I think that's probably the easiest way. And then you plug it in, and then it'll automatically, you can set it up so it automatically connects to your favorite Wi-Fi network, or you can probably also have it connect to an anonymous network if you need.
Okay, a couple questions. Do you need the driver when you install this?
Well, you need to install you need to install a driver because no drivers are included with the distribution, but you don't have to reinstall a kernel. You just basically connect to the internet using the Ethernet, which is automatic and doesn't need a driver. Say install the driver because
that is a big distinction. Redoing the kernel is a lot more difficult than just putting an add-on.
Yeah, there's a couple things that are cool to do with the BeagleBone, but unfortunately require like a full okay, take the SD card, re-image it, download this thing, compile it. You don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is just download the driver from the internet, just because they want to save space. There's only a 2 gig or 4 gig card in here. They're not going to download every driver automatically for you.
Yeah, and then the Wi-Fi, is it ABGN?
Yes, it's BGN.
BGN. All right, that's great. Okay, we're gonna keep moving along. Next up, we have a smoke-colored Arduino case. These are for the people who want to be a little darker, but still have all the benefits of being translucent.
Yes.
So these are new. They're actually really nice. I like this type of color of electronic cases.
Yeah, these are. This is translucent, so you can see through it, but it's not clear. So now we have whitish, clear, and translucent. It still comes with the awesome brass inserts and fits Arduinos really nicely, and an LCD display, and then you can easily machine or drill this, which is great.
Yep.
Like this case.
Okay, moving right along. A new 16x2 blue OLED character display.
Yeah.
I think we had this on It's Not Out Yet last week, didn't we?
Did I?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
Anyways,
Okay, well,
it's very pretty.
we'll show it actually when I do the demo for the flow meter actually, because I'll show it all at once, or I can show it now really quickly, but I'll show it more in detail. Okay, next up.
Okay. Next up, we have these flow sensors. This is something you were really excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gardening projects.
Yeah, the flow sensor stuff. We have plastic ones and we have these brass ones.
Yeah, we have both. So I'll show actually how it works. I took one apart because I was kind of curious. So inside, so this is a tube. You know, they read. So this is a nominal half-inch pipe, national pipe thread tube, and male, so you can connect it up very easily. There's adapters at every hardware store to whatever kind of tubing or hose or whatever you want. And inside is this little pinwheel, and it's a little tough to see, but maybe if I take this out, on the pinwheel, this grayish thing is a magnet. So the pinwheel has a magnet attached to it, and it fits inside here. And then this fits over it, and inside here there is a Hall effect sensor. And so what there's this plastic gap, so there's no, and then there's a waterproof gasket and all that stuff, which I've lost since then, but it was on there. So this is attached on, and so when the pinwheel spins, every time it spins, it passes the Hall effect sensor, and the Hall effect sensor ticks up. So that's why there's power, ground, and the yellow is the Hall effect output. And then you just count the number of ticks. Now the good news is that it's like super easy to use, and it's like fairly inexpensive. The bad news is it's not extremely precise. This is like 10% precision. So if you're like, oh, I have to measure like exact milliliters or liters of water or liquid, not good. But if you're just doing like, okay, well, I just need to know like, was it 1 liter or 2 liters, or like, is it is water flowing through and about how much? Then this is definitely a much better approach. And then we also have brass ones. This one is going to be a lot more rugged. It also has the pinwheel, although it's a little tougher to see. It's also a little smaller. So let me see if I can get my demo running. I have a little counter. It's actually my Arduinos.
Okay, can I fire some questions off at you?
Yeah, sorry, my Arduinos are flicking out. Yeah, what's up?
Okay, most important question, can you run beer through it?
They are not, it's not food rated. So I can't tell you that it's safe for anything that you will consume. The brass one, they tend to be used for water heaters. So I'm trying to get a spec sheet or a data sheet out of the company that makes these. But it's going to be difficult for them to say like, oh, it's rated for food, because it actually legally means something.
Yeah. So
I personally would feel comfortable using the brass one for food, but it's just literally it's not rated as food safe.
Someone wants to know chemical resistance. It's a question mark.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on what chemicals.
Okay. Are we going to have any other on-off waterproof switches other than the green one?
We might.
Yep. Next up, thank you for stocking these. That was a statement, that's good.
Yay.
Is there a max flow rate? Can I use this for drinking water?
The drinking water question is the same as the beer question. There is a max flow rate. It's listed on the product page. My demo just totally died.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come back to life later.
I guess.
I'll see. Maybe there's just a wire loose.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff on this table.
Yeah. Yeah, all this stuff is new. We're trying to get more data sheets and stuff from the supplier. So.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep going. The manufacturer give us maximum pressure ratings for both.
Yes, they are in the product pages. I don't remember.
We did get that. All right. Next up, screwdriver set.
Yes.
Yeah, we evaluated a bunch, and there was a lot that we did not.
Yeah, so we have two
choose.
now.
Yeah.
We have a little one that's like for more precision stuff, and this big one. Actually, I don't even have to show this because it's kind of the same as what you see on the screen here. There's 2 screwdrivers that come with it, One's like it's kind of a smaller one, and it's kind of meant for the smaller bit sets, although there's adapters that go both ways, and then it has an extender that you can also attach. And then there's the big one, and the nice thing about the big one is it's got a built-in ratchet. So you can use it with any of these tools, and then you don't have to twist all the way around. You just twist back and forth, and you can set the ratchet to be clockwise or counterclockwise. So these are really nice. They're magnetic, so that the bits fit in, and there's like 65 different parts that come with it.
Okay. Moving right along, we've got this battery holder moving into our battery
Suddenly
holder.
My demo, I unplugged
Hey, look,
it.
your demo came back.
I plugged it in and I unplugged it, and then it came back. So let me just show it really quickly.
That always solves most problems. Oh,
Yeah.
look.
So this is the OLED, so you can see it's super, super crisp. These are like gorgeous blue OLEDs. And they are exactly the same size, pretty much, and mounting holes, and it's compatible with character displays. So, I just used the standard liquid crystal Arduino library for this, and it works fine. And then I'm just running the demo code that I have linked off of this product page, and I don't want to get water all over this, so I'm just gonna like blow air through it. So every time it counts a pulse, it does the math, and each pulse is about, I think, like 2 milliliters or something. I don't exactly remember the precise amount. It's a little bit different for each one. And so as water goes through it, and I sat there with a 2-liter bottle, and I filled it up with water using a little pump, and so it's pretty good. It's within about 10%. So, yeah, there you go. So that's the demo for
Good work.
these little brass guys. And the plastic ones are very similar.
All right, and someone wants to know, can you do brightness? Can you change the brightness on those screens?
You can't, because the OLEDs are...
It's just bright.
It's just bright. They're just bright. There might be a setting in the data sheet, but it's not part of the standard settings. It does have some cool extras, like you can use it in graphic mode, although it's not it's not completely clear. Like you have to do something special to do that, because it's not part of the standard character parts, like an extension. It does have like multiple languages, has like Russian and European. You can change the code page, which is cool. And you can put it into SPI mode, but you have to solder a resistor on the back.
Do you know the current drain of the OLED?
It's in the data sheet, for sure. I think it's probably like 40 or 50 milliamps total.
Do they refresh quicker than LCDs, where LCD flickers a bit when characters changes?
These do not flicker almost at all. They're much, much faster because it's not LCD. It's much more active. So it's crisper. There's no contrast control, because the contrast is always like ultra high. And yeah, you're not going to get as much like flicker or distortion. It's going to be pretty much constant and super clear all the time. It does refresh, so that if I waved it, you would see it flicker a little bit, but not very much.
Are we going to get other colors?
We might. I mean, these are a little expensive is the problem, so we didn't want to, and you have to order 300 minimum, so I didn't want to carry like, the 7 different colors they had, so I thought that the blue kind of looked the best and had the most reasonable lead time, and then if these are popular, I'll carry more, but it's tough to, I don't want to have 3,000 character OLEDs. I don't know how popular they'd be. That's a lot of OLEDs to store. Okay, sorry, so the battery holder.
Yeah, let's go back to this.
Thank you for being demo patient. I got like 6 demos. Yes, this is just a battery holder. Super easy. For any 4 AA batteries, it gives you 6 volts. It's a little bit high for microcontroller stuff, but if you put a 1 in 4001 diode in series, it kind of brings it down to 5. That's probably good enough. And there's an on-off switch. So these are less expensive than the waterproof ones, and they're not waterproof, and they're not even very water resistant. But they're very good for general project use.
This one is not waterproof. We have waterproof, and then this is not waterproof.
We have a waterproof 3 by AA, and this is a 4 by AA not waterproof. We're trying to get some waterproof holders in, but each one requires quite a bit of time to get. So we're going to try to get a 4 AA one, but not sure when.
And next up, I have some photos, and then we have a little video. So let's.
Well, we should show the inverter next.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So this is the EL.
This is the audio EL inverter.
Yeah.
Which I have hooked up coincidentally.
Yeah.
To this battery holder.
Yeah, and we also have a video of it. But let's go to the live demo, and then we'll do the video demo.
Yeah. Hopefully this demo will go a lot better. So yeah, I have it connected up to this 6-volt power supply with 4 AA batteries. And this is the audio inverter, and there's a little microphone. You can kind of see the little holes there. That's where the mic is, and then there's just a red LED. And you can adjust how sensitive it is. So it's all the way minimum, like you tap it, it barely does anything. And then as you increase the sensitivity, it reacts much more strongly. So you can adjust that depending on, you know, how much you want to be reactive. And then it has 3 settings on the side: off, which is off, music mode, and full on. So it can act as like a normal all the way on constant inverter. But the nice thing about this one is it, you know, has this reactive audio one. So I might get a little more sensitive. Hey Phil, Adabot, say something.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's the reactive. So
Yeah.
it works with EL panel, EL tape, or EL wire. You can use it with any of them, and it will do the same sort of reactive stuff.
Okay, I'll make a little quick video that Becky made. And we're going to go to that right now.
This is the 6-volt sound-activated EL inverter from Adafruit. It's perfect for portable projects because you can power it with just 4 AA or AAA batteries, which can then easily fit in your pocket. It would make a great musical upgrade to the Tron bag Lady Ada and I made a while back. And we also have the 12-volt version of the same inverter, which you can use for car or home projects, like this couch I modded in this video. If you want to share your EL project, come to our weekly electronics show and tell on Google+, or leave a video response. And don't forget to subscribe.
Okay.
So I like these because they help make an EL project maybe a little bit more interactive, but without needing to get like a controller or a microcontroller involved. This is some basic reactivity, but I think could be still, you know, I think it's a nice little addition to our collection of EL.
I think for the people who do lots of case mod stuff that use EL, this will be really neat.
Yeah.
Because you can have it set up so, like, depending on how loud your computer is, it's doing stuff.
You can react to the music. You can pipe it. You know, you can connect it to the audio output of your computer and have it react.
Okay, we're gonna keep moving along here.
Yes. Next up is the embed.
The embed. We're carrying embeds.
Yay! So we were trying to carry more different development platforms, not just Arduino. We don't carry just Arduino, we have actually a lot more.
I think we're hitting pretty much all of the platforms. We've always tried to have some type of embedded Linux. We've had Propeller. We have the Pinguino, the PIC-based stuff, and now we have this.
This is an LPC 1768, which is actually a pretty intense chip. I can't go in depth into this because we're going to run out of time, but basically it's a mini USB breadboard friendly LPC chip. It's got a reset button, some LEDs on the back. It's got another LPC chip and a piece of flash. And what's really neat is that when you plug this in, it shows up as a hard drive, and then you can drag programs onto it, and then that's this chip, and this chip will program the main chip. And use an online compiler, although now you can even use offline compilers, which I think is really cool. They have a GCC, they have instructions on how to use GCC with the export tools on the embed website. Right. So even though the easiest way to get going is to use the online website compiler, which I think is really cool and has all these social features, you can also do it offline. So I thought that was kind of cool, and that's kind of what made me like cross the line into wanting to carry.
That was new for this year, and there's an export tool. You can export your project, and you can use compilers offline, and you can use, for the people who like to use open source tool chains, you can use ARM GCC and write your programs. And we'll have an example for that soon too. Kevin Townsend, who works with us, he uses that pretty much for all of his stuff in the ARM board that we have.
The LPC 1768 is a sweet chip, and then it comes with this really nice little card with all the pinouts, which I like, and a mini BK.
Do you know how much memory it has as a drive, so you can drag the programs onto it? Let's see.
I don't think it won't say on there, but I can read the.
You could probably look on the page that we have.
I believe it's 2 megabytes. It says 8T. It's the 4DB 16, and that's 16. So yeah, that's 2 megabytes. So it's got 2 megabytes of storage, and that can be used for data logging as well because it's 16 megabit, and that's 2 megabytes. So 2 megabytes.
Question: 3.3 volt, 3.3.
This is a 3.3 volt device.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who use our RFID board with this, and we're going to have a pack shortly.
Yes, we're going to make a special NXP Super Happy Love pack that has both the NXP PN532 NFC RFID board and the embed, and hopefully they'll port our totally awesome library that Kevin Townsend wrote from Arduino to this, and luckily all of our code is in C. It's open source, it's on GitHub, so it's really easy to port it to other platforms.
We have a big tent for all of the platforms here. I like all of them.
It's a tent.
Yeah, big tent. Yeah.
Well, actually, it's kind of like an apartment.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay.
All right, and then we just have one last thing, and then we'll open it up for all general questions. We
Yeah.
have a
This is my
capacitive
favorite.
touch.
But I don't have a demo for it because I didn't have time.
Yeah, capacitive touch trackpad.
While packing, but I will talk about what it can
PS2.
do. So this is really neat. So if you've seen laptops, you know that they all have touch pads now, and you can also get external touch pads. This is an external touch pad, and the neat thing about it is, first off, it's got this nice big touchpad area, and it's capacitive, and it's got 2 mouse buttons. So it's meant to actually, if you plug it into a computer, it looks like a mouse. But the cool thing about this is that it's PS2. There's a little PS2 adapter, and PS2 is a really easy interface for microcontrollers to talk to like external devices like this. So we wrote a really quick PS2 library for Arduino, but almost any microcontroller has a PS2 library. It's really common, and using only 2 pins, data and clock, you can talk to this. And so we wrote a driver for it. And the neat thing is that it's got this capacitive touch pad, and you can get absolute touch values and Z values. So I can get, from 0, 0 all the way to like 1,000, 1,000, I think, or something, or like 600, 1,000. And it'll also tell you how hard you're pressing. And then it can also do some basic gestures. It doesn't do like the drag or the squeeze stuff, but it does do tap and double tap. So you can detect tap, double tap, and then absolute motion. So this is a way to do like touch-based stuff. Like if you want to put stickers or an overlay over this, it would still work because it's capacitive and it works through most materials. You can have an interface that is really inexpensive and much cheaper than trying to build your own capacitive touchpad-based system using like this off-the-shelf trackpad stuff. And you get 2 buttons, and it works in the microcontroller like super easily. And I just thought it was like, this would be so cool. And I think that people are gonna do some really cool stuff with this. Like I think a musical instrument, or like a lighting controller or something like that. Yeah, it's super easy, and if you really wanted to, you could even take it out of the plastic case and mount it in a special case if you wanted to. I got this because it was a kind of a basic case.
Can you use a PS2 to USB adapter with this?
No, it's PS2 only.
Okay.
It's not meant for use with there's a version that was USB, but that's for computers. I wanted to make sure this was for microcontrollers.
Yeah. And as someone pointed out, this is way thinner than an array of buttons. Like, you could do some really neat stuff. We think there's going to be all sorts of cool lighting things, musical instruments for sure.
And then most of it's air. Like, I took this apart because I wanted to see what the chipset is. It's an Alpha chipset. And, like, the actual circuit board is super, super skinny. It's glued onto this, but you can pry it off if you wanted to. Yeah. So it's really cool. We have example code library for it that works out of the box, and it's super easy to get going, and it'll tell you, like, where are you touching and what are you pressing. So do check this out. I really like this. We're going to try to get some more PS2 devices in because it's the easiest way to get stuff like keyboards and mouse and trackballs and all that stuff attached to my controller.
Okay, and that was the end of new products. A lot of stuff. A lot of good questions too.
Well, we had to get 2 weeks worth in 1 week.
Okay. We're now going to open it up for general questions. I see one right now, and I'm just going to start firing these.
Oh wait, do you want to show the...
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end if there's time. All right, next up, someone wants to know where the COM ports and setup in Device Manager are Win7 64-bit. Can't set up Arduino. So I'm having a hard time setting up their Arduino.
Check the Arduino CC because I think they have instructions. I don't run Win7.
Yeah.
But I think it should be. Also, if you go into the Arduino IDE, it should auto-detect the COM ports for you as well. But I know that they do change the device driver a little bit. It's maybe a little more hidden.
Yeah.
Or Google for like Windows 7 device driver. I'm sure somebody has a tutorial up.
Someone wanted to know, could that touchpad before do multi-touch?
It does not do
little before multi-touch was around.
This is much older than a multi. This is an older Alps touchpad. It doesn't do multi-touch again. It only does basic gesture stuff.
Any plans for a 1/2-inch NPT water meter valve to work with the flow meters?
These are 1/2-inch NPT.
I think they mean valve. So I guess that would.
Solenoid, yes, we do have some on the way, but we did not get them yet.
Okay. Yep, looks like we're having it okay. To go disable that, Arduino shows how. Check lows, okay. No, I'm just trying to do this. This week I bought a DSO Nano from Adafruit. How do we know it's charging? PC only reacts when DSO Nano is on. How can I use a 5-volt wall charger or so?
We do have a USB wall charger. I believe it charges through the Mini Bio Micro B jack, so you could use like our wall 5-volt USB adapter. I don't know if it indicates if it's charging unless it's on, but it just charges. It should, I mean, like they're tested to work, so I believe it just charges. I think if it's booted, it might indicate if it's charging or not.
Okay. Are we bringing the Adafruit Hackerspace stamp to Maker Faire to have it around? No, but one day one will. We're going to be able to announce soon. We should be getting a bigger space. We'll have a time and place when people visit New York, and we can have them stamp our place. The place we're in right now, we can't have retail.
No traffic.
We can't have retail customers and visitors really.
But we'll try to do open houses of some sort.
But when we get to our next place, we'll be able to do stuff and have like a hackerspace type night.
It's not out yet, so don't ask.
Next up, do British homes have 240 volt and 480 mains input, or just a 240 volt?
Well, most places have 2 phases, so I imagine that some British homes would have 480. All I know is that a lot of American homes have 220 or 240, but it's often split really weird because like you often can't get to it. I don't know that much about British home electricity, so you'll have to ask them. But
what are we speaking about, Maker Faire? Running an open source hardware business.
Yeah, you're doing a small talk.
Yeah, and we'll be there. And then at the open hardware event, we're both talking about just open source hardware and some of the cool things going on.
Yeah.
And some of the people, we're celebrating a lot of people in open source hardware because it's more than just the physical bits. It's the people behind it. It's why it's a cool.
It's the people bits.
It's why it's a cool thing.
Open hardware. It's made of people.
Yeah. Next up. Recommend switch your chip to convert 120 volts to 18 2 amp with isolation.
Well, you would use a transformer if you wanted isolation, but I don't really do high voltage step downs, and I strongly don't suggest you do either. You just find a laptop, power supply and just use that. Because a lot of them will give you 18 volts.
Okay. Next up, converting one RF frequency to in to another out. What do you recommend?
You can't do that. It doesn't quite work that way.
Okay.
I think. I don't completely understand your question, but
you probably have to somehow capture and then rebroadcast it, right?
Euler says you can't do that. I'm not going to argue with him. I'm pretty sure what you're asking is trying to convert one frequency to another without automatically, right, without any decoding and encoding. I don't think is possible.
Next up. Can you stop by the current place, say, if you bring pizza? No.
No, you can't.
We actually can't. We have some pretty strict rules the way it works
unless you happen to work for the pizza place. We never order pizza.
Yeah.
We don't eat pizza here.
Yeah, this is our business office, so we can't really do that. Next up, my Minty Boost doesn't charge phone enough for battery level increase. They charge different batteries and cables and the settings, so any suggestions? You may have not assembled the Minty Boost correctly. You could post up in the forums, watch Becky's awesome video, and take photos of your Minty Boost front and back. You may have just not soldered something.
Also, if you're not,
some phones also might not work.
Some phones are picky. It depends on your batteries. Also, depending what cables you use, it can make a difference.
Yeah.
We actually had some problems because we had cheap iPhone cable here, not an official one.
Yeah.
And it actually it was too much loss in the cable.
We're going to be at Hope 9. We haven't decided if we're going to do a booth there yet. It's easier for us to do a booth at Maker Faire. Maker Shed carries all of our stuff, so we don't need to do a booth. We usually do talks. At Hope, we're going to see if we can get the time to do it. We'll probably attend no matter what.
Yeah.
Next.
Measure stuff.
I think we got through these, and with a few minutes to spare.
Wow.
Any other engineering questions for Lady Ada?
Or anything you need measured that's small.
Yeah. Yeah, someone said decode and retransmit seems right. Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
That's. I mean,
LM35 hot to touch, no input pinout. Correct any device. Does it need resistance on the output pin?
Well, we don't use the LM35 because I don't like it. I use the Temp36, but if it's getting hot, probably just wired it wrong or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's hot because it's temperature sensor and it's on something.
How about
hot.
feature request for your store? Sure. You can email support@adafruit.com. We may be working on them, and we'll tell you. And you can also, make some suggestions. Did the Boing Boing shout out move some badges? Yeah, we're working with lots of schools. The thing that's interesting about the badges is lots of teachers are making their own curriculums anyways because they have very specific needs for their school, but they still want to reward the students. And so the badges they work out really well because there's really it's very open, and we kind of like this idea of peer-to-peer learning where the teacher is kind of coming up with a curriculum that makes sense for the resources and materials they have, and in the end they get an LED badge. So it's working out. Next up. Oh, let someone bulk add items from the wish list to the shopping cart. Oh, so like add all. Okay. We are redoing our wish list stuff, so that'll be that's actually one of the things.
People have asked for public wish lists, which we don't do. We didn't think that people would want that, but I guess they do. So we'll have wish lists, which is sort of like a registry of sorts.
Next up, are you gonna have a wiki for the badge curriculum? Right now, anyone can produce badge curriculum stuff and send us a link, and we have Adam Kemp kind of leading that charge. All of his docs are on Google Docs, and then as we develop the Academy section of Adafruit, it'll be very easy to add your own curriculum. Let's see. Not just add all, just put a checkbox by each item. Yeah, for the wish list thing. Yeah, selectively being able to do that is one of the plan features.
We did out the wish list before we had so many items.
Yeah.
So people would need it.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, someone said they're looking to get a Maker Academy curriculum and find funding. That's great. Someone actually sent me an email not too long ago, and they couldn't tell me any details, but they also said that they're starting a Maker-like Academy, and they already have funding. They're just asking about advisors and stuff, and I don't, because I have Make, which I write for, which is just a monthly thing, and I work at Adafruit. I've always tried to avoid being on advisory boards. I've been asked a few times. You've been asked. We were going to be part of the Open Source Hardware Association, but we decided, we just don't have time to do everything. And also it keeps us free to just be completely independent and function as an open source hardware company. So the board stuff, I've just stayed away from it. Because every time you write as an author, you have to disclose this stuff. A long time ago, Instructables asked if I wanted to be on it. And I said, I write about you guys, and if I'm on a board, I don't think it'd be fair to cover the same things I would about you. So I just said, you know what, it just doesn't matter. Yeah. And it didn't. So, and I always try to recommend people that I think would be good on a board for this stuff.
Well, we're almost done. Let's do the.
Yeah.
We have no more time.
Let me see if there's any more questions. MOSFET's favorite toy. Oh, he has this little squeaky mouse that someone sent us. It's really nice.
Hey, let's do the.
Is it what?
It's time. It's 11:59.
Oh, it's time for trivia.
Yeah. I'm like, where are you going?
Okay, one more question.
All right.
Are the screw terminals you sell compatible with breadboard spacing and work with kits?
No.
Okay. Okay. What are you doing?
Let's do this thing.
Okay. Don't forget. Is Mom. It's trivia question time.
Yeah.
Okay, do the rules.
Rules are, we're going to ask a question. The first person to answer correctly into the chat with correct spelling and all that good stuff wins a fabulous prize. What is today's fabulous prize?
I think we should give away one of the sound-activated EL.
You will get a sound-activated EL inverter.
Yeah.
We should probably toss in some EL in a 4-battery pack too, so it's an all-in-one thing.
The what?
We should toss in a 4-battery pack in like an EL.
Yeah, it'll be a nice little.
All right, you'll get a strand of EL wire, and the inverter, and a 4W battery pack. So you just solder together.
Yeah, or we could just. You want to just give away this demo?
Well, we could give away this demo.
We'll give away this demo.
We're going to give away this demo.
That's really good because we can have
That's really easy.
Yeah, we can have it set up so.
We probably should have thought ahead of time what we wanted to give away.
Bink, bink. So
well,
if you talk, it lights up.
Okay, we'll give away this fine demo that I made today. All right, cool. So, what is the question?
All right. So, I'm going to make this really easy because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
The first person to post the full URL of the Make hardware site.
Yes, the name of the site that we're speaking on Tuesday.
Yeah. First person
the event that we're speaking on Tuesday.
First person to post the link.
Post the link to the website.
It's the Make Hardware Innovation Summit. Post the URL in the chat.
And if you've won
it's
before...
It's not 42.com.
And if you've won before, you can't
It's
enter.
not makerfair.com.
You can't enter this if you won, because we have that happen. Go have a sandwich.
Jay Martinez got it. MakeZine.com Hardware Innovation Workshop. Congratulations.
Intense.
Yeah, that was good. Jay
Good
Martinez.
work.
So that's what it is. All right.
Email support at Adafruit to get your fabulous prize.
Yeah. And I'll put you on the overhead. Let me go find the cat.
I'll show this demo again. You got this? You got the water sensor? Wait. No, it's not working. Oh. That's working. I'm winded. And only 0.67 liters. So yeah, the nice thing about these displays is that you can see them from any angle.
Okay.
Hey, you found a cat.
Yep. Okay. And with that, we'll see many of you in person at Maker Faire. MOSFET will not be going with us. He's going to be cat sit by one of our friends. Meow. Yeah, if he meows.
If he meows, maybe he
meows,
can
he'll do it.
catch it from the...
There he is.
Okay, MOSFET, you have to meow. Meow. No, don't lick it.
Yeah. Oop, we all got out of focus here. There we go. We're back.
Meow. Meow?
Yeah.
This is not an effective project for people who want to light up their cats based on their purring, unless you have one of those really vocal cats.
Yeah. He'll meow once in a while. The last couple of weeks, he actually meowed in front of the camera. But,
He usually meows a lot, but he's very shy. He's camera shy.
yeah. Okay. All right, that's it.
That's our show.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone showing up. We had George Graves recording, Becky putting in some links, Scott was also putting in some links, Phil Burgess, Paint Your Dragon was there, special thanks to Tyler, who is in the chat, all the people on the show and tell, all the great questions tonight, and don't forget the code is MOM, 10% off many of the kits at Adafruit.
Mom.
And we'll have that going just for a little bit longer, so you have till like Sunday-ish.
Yeah.
So try to get your orders in tonight.
Say something nice to your mom tomorrow.
That's
Call
right.
her up on the phone.
That's right. Okay, here is your moment of Zener.